Morning. So in this video, I want to talk about solving simultaneous equations. You're going to have another two tasks to work on my iMaths that'll be involving simultaneous equations. But this time I want to talk about how we can use graphs to have a look at this and to solve these things, and how we can also use our calculators to solve these. So I'm going to start out with a simple equation. It looks something like this. Y equals 9 minus 3x. That I'm going to call equation A. And then we've got a second equation that's 2x plus 2y equals 10. I'm going to call that equation B. Now, there are different ways in which we can go about solving this algebraically. One way is to go into substitute equation A into equation B, in which case wherever I see a y, and I see a y coming up over here, I'm going to replace it with what y is equal to, and what y is equal to is 9 minus 3x. Okay, we get that from this part over here. So I've replaced that y that was sitting over there, with 9 minus 3x, and that's going to equal 10. Now if we tidy this up, we're going to get 2x plus 18 minus 6x is going to equal 10. And when I tidy that up, I'm going to get minus 4x is going to equal minus 8. And so I'm going to get that x is equal to 2. In which case, if I go and substitute this back into the equation A, then I'm going to get that y is going to be 9 minus 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, so this is simply going to leave me with the answer y is equal to 3. So that's one way in which I can do this. I can do this solving it algebraically. Now, I understand for a lot of you that are doing this course, you did it specifically because you didn't want to have to do algebra, and so surely there is another way, a better way of doing it without having to do it by algebra. And the answer is yes, there is. I can go and do this graphically. Now, there are two ways in which we can do this graphically. I could go and do it graphically on something like GeoGebra, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and use my calculator. And this is why it's so important that you have a graphics calculator, because it's really going to help you with this particular task. Now, if we go into the menu of the graphics calculator, there are different functions over here that we can look at. The one we're going to look at is this graphing function. My calculator might look slightly different to yours because it's an older version, but your one should be fine. So I now just need to put in the equations of the two functions here. So the first one I've got, can you see over here, it says y equals, I've got my equation in that form, y equals, and it's going to be 9 minus 3x. And I'm going to use this key over here to denote my x. So I've got my first equation entered in. The second equation, however, is not going to be quite the same, because it is over here and it's not in the form y equals like the previous one was. So what I'm going to have to do is to move this over here, and there I've gone and rearranged the equation, and I've got the equation as y is equal to 5 minus x. So I just need to enter that into the calculator, 5 minus x, and go and press execute. And I now need to draw it. And F6 gives me my draw function, so I press F6. I can't really see what's happening over here. I can't see where it's about to intersect. So what I need to do is to go and change the view of my window. So I'm going to go Shift View Window. And I couldn't see up high enough, so I'm just going to change my maximum y value, which is down at 3 at the moment. Let's take that up to 5. And press execute, and if I exit out of there, I can now go back to the draw function, F6, and I can see that the two graphs are crossing. Now, I'm not quite sure where that point of intersection is. I don't know what the scale is on the x-axis. I don't know what the scale is on the y-axis. Now, the calculator will find out that point for you, and all you need to do is to use this gsolve function over here. So I'm going to go Shift gsolve, and I want the point of intersection. So I don't need to worry about the root, the maximum, the y-intercept. I want the intersection. It's this one over here, F5, and I press it, and there we have it. We have that y is equal to 2, so that x is equal to 2, and that y is equal to 3. And I've gone and written this down incorrectly. We had our solution over here that x was equal to 2 and that y was equal to 3. And so our calculator has gone and shown us how we can get that point of an intersection of the two graphs. Now, that's all good and well. I've gone and shown what I've done on the calculator. I found the intersection of two graphs, but I can also go and do it using another function on the calculator. If we go back to the menu and I go and find the equation section, which is this one over here. So I'm just going to navigate across, go across and go down, go to the equation section, and I'm going to look at trying to solve simultaneously. So I need to press F1 because that goes to the simultaneous solver function. And they tell you there's no data in the memory. That's fine. They just want to know the number of unknowns. Now, at the moment, this equation has two unknowns. The two unknowns are over there, x and y. So we're going to work with two unknowns. So that's press F1. And you'll see up at the top over here, they've written the equation in a particular form. They've got something x plus something y is equal to some number, C of n. And we need to get both of our equations in that format before we can do anything on the calculator. Now, the equation B is in that right format, so that's all good. I don't have to worry about doing anything with that. But I do need to do something with the second equation. So I need to get everything over, all the x and y's over onto one side, and that's simple enough. All I have to do is add 3x to both sides. That's a bit messy. I'm going to add 3x to both sides, and I'm going to get y plus 3x is equal to 9. Or if I put it another way, I'm going to have 3x plus y equals 9, and the other equation was 2x plus 2y equals 10. Now, I've got it in that format. If I go back to my calculator and pull it up and get in the right place, it's something x plus something y equals a number. So all I have to do now is go and fill in the coefficients, the numbers that come before the variables, before the letters. So 3 comes before the x. There's a 1 in front of the y. We don't see it, but we know it's there. And 9 is the last number. In the second equation, I've got 2x and 2y, and that's going to equal 10. Press all of that, and now once I press enter, I get these options at the bottom over here. I'm going to go and want to solve, so I press F1 for solve, and there I come up with my solutions. X is 2 and y is 3. X equals 2, y equals 3. And so the calculator has done all the hard algebra in the background and can solve these things for you. And this, I think, is a very powerful tool. And this is why I say it's so important for you to have a graphics calculator when we do this particular topic. Right. That's enough from me now. You're going to need to go back and start working on the Maya iMaths problems. Goodbye.